Hey guys, so this is the last video of the Muscle Week. The next video will be like a selection of people that inspire me. Say something that is needed to say in the beginning of the video. Some people don't like, well, it's not that they don't like the content that I'm posting on IG, but they have this thing of saying that the past is the past, leave it to the past. This is my social media. If you want to share coupon codes all day, that's fine. Nobody is saying anything to you for that. And on top of that, you're not the center of the world. There are people that will be inspired by hearing about my past or my perspective on things. My social media is not just for you, actually. I'm talking to plenty of people and there is things for everybody. I'm posting what I'm posting. If you don't like it, that's fine. You can come back when I will come back. If you don't have any inspiration for your next selfie, I don't have any problem being the inspiration for people's content, people's selfie, people's way of do things, view things, or whatever. It's great, honestly. But you're not about to dictate me if I'm going to talk about my past or not. If you find it boring, that's great. We're going to get to the boring stuff as well. That's great. Shut your mouth and give your attention to the content that you enjoy watching. That you're watching every day, that is always the same. It leaves a little bit of the tone of this video. So, we're going to start by things I have said in the past. As you know, I have never addressed anything because at the end of the day, when I say that I really don't care, I really don't care. That happens a lot. Even recently, I'm having conversation with people. It is in the streets that I'm saying that Paris is too expensive to live there and whatever. I never said that. But the thing that pisses me off is that the people that I'm talking to are saying those statements. And then it is in the streets that I have said that. Because you like to invent this whole narrative, and we're going to get to that as well, where you invent me statements. And I've said that already. The things that I said naturally, because I decided to say it, are controversial enough for you to add your pinch. It pisses me off because it went to the point where some people, like at some point, a guy years ago invented in the street, was saying in the street that he raped me. He didn't. So what are you gaining by inventing that you raped me? Same thing with my brother. At some point people were saying that we had an appropriate relationship. He's my brother. There was never any confusion from the people seeing us interact or having fun, laughing, or going to the cinema that would have made them think that we had an inappropriate relationship. But again, people in the street, and especially friends that were around me at the time, felt the way about something and decided to go to the streets and say those type of things. It's one thing to be in the mouth of people regarding the content that I post or whatever, or browse or whatever. But don't invent me some things that never happened. And especially some deep stuff. Like, we are 8 billion of people in the world. And you decide to give me all of that energy that I didn't ask for. People have this thing when they think that the people I was around with when they first saw me or knew about my existence or whatever, that I was happy around them, that I was no, not at all. The thing is, yes, I had great moments with those people, like this insecure thing. The roommate that I mentioned on YouTube, at some point I was just like, I feel like she's telling to people everything that I'm saying. And, you know, I was just like, okay, how can I see for myself that she's repeating everything that I'm saying? I'm going to say something that, you know, if she is really my friend, she wouldn't say that to people that I don't know, because it's sensitive information. And also an information that if she repeated, I will hear about it. And I heard about it. She was always talking about a group of people. We'll talk about it right after that. I said to her, like, I don't want to introduce myself and just be like, hey, it's me, blah, blah, blah. I'm just existing. And I have this great personality, whatever. No, I wanted to be like, hey, it's me. I'm doing this that is creative. And I said also that I wasn't dressing the way I wanted to dress at events. And some people might say, yeah, but that is being insecure. But no, it's just me wanting to be comfortable. It's like people, I don't know, who wants to work in fashion in New York and they're coming from a little village in the US or another city in the US. There's nothing wrong with them thinking, you know what, I'm going to meet that type of people in that type of industry. Let me, build up my portfolio, change a little bit of my style for me to be comfortable. Anyway, it was in the street that I was insecure. And I never said anything because to me it was just like, as a friend, as a real friend and not a fucking opportunist, you wouldn't say that about your friend. If your friend is really insecure, if I'm really insecure, you shouldn't say that to people that I don't know. Moving on, there are some people in my city, it is in the streets, that I have said about them that in French it is ils servent à rien, that they have no use. And for some people, I meant it. Like, for example, there was this guy who implied years ago that I was an empty egg, implied that on the outside I was looking interesting, but on the inside there was nothing. That type of person, and there are those type of person that have said things like that about me in my city, in Brussels. For me, you have no use. Calling me a mushroom. I'm a mushroom because I take too much place in your landscape. You think I'm going to be offended to be called a mushroom? Yes, I take place when I'm in the landscape. Yes, the sky is blue, nothing new. So if you feel like you're going to disrespect me and I'm just going to stick around, even though I wasn't interested to be around those type of people in the first place, but we're going to get to that. I'm just going to remove myself from the equation. It's not even my equation, it's yours. You want me to be there, but you think you can disrespect me. I'm not your friend, I'm not your child. So no, I'm going to remove myself without saying anything, and that's it. Why was I saying that in the first place? So, as you know, I grew up in foster care homes. And, I was going in school in Waterloo. So outside of Brussels, 30 minutes away from Brussels. So basically, when I was hearing gossip or hearing about people from the city of things going on or fights or beefs or whatever, I was always hearing that from school in Waterloo. So the people that were relevant to the people of Waterloo was those that I was hearing about. All of this to say that really the people of Brussels, I just didn't know their existence or whatever, but nothing wrong with it, So the roommate, we were in kindergarten together, and when we started to hang out, she was always talking about them. She would send me links to their Twitter saying, oh, look at her, she said this, Instagram, whatever, stories and stuff on and stuff. So anyway, she was talking all the time about those people, and I remember saying to her, like, girl, why are you always talking about those people? You don't even like that. She started to come with gossip, like an American rapper or maybe somebody who was in fashion, Jan Connor, somebody, whatever, came to Brussels to party, hang out with a Belgian girl, and he posted that on his stories, IG stories. And I was just like, dang, this is actually the gossip of the city. Like the Twitter of those people, the social media of those people, or like the gossip of the city, because they're always talking about people, everybody, anytime something happens, And I like gossip. Time to time, we would check or whatever. Like, is there something that people are talking about that is interesting or crispy? Until I realized that some of them were talking about me. But that's not the point. Like, whatever, we'll get to that. When I was saying that they had no use, I said that. And like I'm explaining, I'm not taking that back. I said that for particular group of people in this group, because my friend, well, my roommate at the time, was, I don't know what was happening between them actually, but she was always like, yeah, they're stunting on me and they think they're better than me and they're stunting and blah 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 blah. I was just like, girl, like, who gives a fuck? You know, I'm the type of friend, if a friend is coming to me saying that, I don't know, like, a bitch looked at her a certain way, or, you know, some people are just like, whatever, I'm going to be like, fuck them. Who gives a shit about them? Ils ne servent à rien, on s'en fout, meuf. On s'en fout. On s'en fout. They have no use. It went to the point where we were hanging out or something, and basically she was like, you know what, fuck the people of Brussels, we're not going trying to be at their events anymore, let's hang out with the people of Ghent. And it was really like out of the blue, and I was just like, but what happened? Like, you were saying that fuck the people of our city, but what happened with them to feel that way, whatever. Later on, to hear in the streets that I'm just saying, that I was just saying, well, they don't have no use, they don't serve any purpose or whatever. Yeah, I don't mind people repeating things that I've said in the past, but why don't you say the whole dialogue? Why don't you say the whole dialogue? I didn't really hold any grudges towards the streets, because I was just like, you're doing or saying things when you're seeing me because you only have a quarter of the information for you to be their puppet towards me. It could be towards other people, I'm not, you know, but that was that type of situation. I was just like, that's not interesting to me. All this thing is just pointless to me. Like, this, what I had explained, was the context of what I was saying. Other than that, I didn't know about their existence. They did nothing to me that I was aware of at that time. Basically, I was just saying that to my friend because she was always talking about them. At that, a few weeks ago, I called out a person that is, well, I don't know if she's there anymore. You know, at that time, I was saying things on social media, and I was just like, no. Yeah, one of them is feeding them information, like, is going around again with their puppet game. Took a look around. I don't have a problem saying that. I will say that. I took a look around and I saw that that particular person was in New York. I said what I said, and I posted, reposted on my stories pictures of her. You know, me, I knew what was my thinking doing that, but after it, I just thought to myself, yeah, people following me won't get what I was doing with that. What I was doing with that is that I don't know what those people want from me. Like, you want some clout? Here you go. Here's a clout. Why at some point you just can't let me go when we have never talked to each other, we don't know each other? I want you to understand deeply, because, for example, it's like you living in LA or New York, and you decide to have like a fresh job, deciding, you know what, I'm going to move to Paris, I'm going to move to London, to Barcelona, whatever. And imagine coming from LA, New York, Philadelphia, whatever, and going to another continent and hearing that people from your home city went there to talk about the past and to talk about a false narrative. Could be true sometimes, but most of the time it's false or transformed narratives. And you have never met those people, never been around those people, never partied with those people, never had any contact. Yet, we're going into, it has been 7 years, so it's going to be the 8th year that those people are still talking about you. You have said what you said on social media over the years. Fine, no problem. Thanks to the streets, when there's, you know, something going around, the streets is telling me. So I just have to check to see what they're talking about. But I never reply to it. Anyway, anyhow, anywho, I'm not interested. Thank you very much to let me go at some point. You can't talk the way you have talked and say the things that you have said for fucking 7 years in the city, in the country, in the continent, out overseas, and think that you can bounce on it. No, you cannot. I'm going to take the plane. I hate planes, but I'm going to take the plane for how many hours just to get there. And again, like I had in other cities of Europe, have interactions based on Well, when it's the truth. Whether I was saying something wrong or bad, it's the truth. But most of the time, it's the fake narrative. So I'm going to do the whole way just to, again, have interactions based on their fake narratives. Most of the time, when I peep that the interaction has for source something that was said, done in Brussels that is fake, it's a fake narrative, I'm not even okay. And I see that some people in the US are talking shit or whatever, I'm just like, listen, it has been going on for almost 8 years on this side. So you're new to the game, but the game was already there. That's it. Honestly. Most of the time I'm laughing. Especially now, with people in the US, I'm laughing because I'm just like, damn. So you're going to another continent and you're lying. Playing the puppet master in another continent with fake information, not even the truth. Moving on, that is a good thing that I wanted to address. Why? Because, like I said, we're almost 8 years in, guys. 8 years. So, at some point, people were saying that, oh yeah, she have great coats, but under her coats, she's not well dressed. At some point, people were saying that the poetry that I write wasn't mine. And not a long time ago, people were saying that the captions that I write on my IG were not mine. I just never really cling into the fact that people will doubt me writing poetry or me writing my captions, yet understand that I am the one writing my music. Your Fav is spitting trash. You have no doubt about them writing that. No doubt, no objections, no nothing. It's just pure trash. It brings nothing to the game. Nothing new, nothing different, nothing powerful. My poetry is great. My captions are great. But you doubting it while being fed some trash into your ears is the most funny thing to me. On top of that, sometimes I'm not even posting the lyrics or the captions that I write because they're too violent. They're too aggressive. They're really aggressive on a deeper level. So you're saying that things that I'm writing, poetry and captions, even captions, like, really, we are going to talk about, yeah, she's not even writing her captions, like it must coming from a rap or something else. Okay, but even if it was coming from Google, from lyrics, from genius.com, even if it was true, you still have access to those platforms. Yet, the only thing you have to say is, we outside, I'm outside. Okay, great. You have people writing trash. You're not saying anything about it. And when you have people that you feel are writing things that are too good for it to be theirs, you're just a hater. And you have too much time on your hand while living your best life and being outside. To talk about who's writing captions of who and if it is true that it's her captions or not, what kind of best life and outside is it? It might sound a little bit strange for people like me. There are people like me. I'm not the only one like me. So, just saying. You out here living your best life and being outside, so I'm not sure how my IG captions are fitting into your landscape. People have been saying for years that I rehearse my clapbacks. So I said that I was going to chill a little bit on the curse words. So I'm going to do that. Well, I'm going to try. But what I will say is, am I rehearsing my clapbacks? Or you're just not good enough to reply? So the only thing that you have to do is go around people saying that it was rehearsed. Because me, I never look for trouble. I never go to people looking to start up some drama. Might have, on some petty shit. I can be petty. And when I'm petty, I'm really petty. Like, petty. I have been into fights. I have been into arguments. I have been into beefs. And I never heard from people that I was rehearsing my clapbacks because they were good too. You know, so it was fair. It was funny even to people looking at us arguing like, So you see my interest. You see how I express myself and the things that are interesting to me and the things that I'm sharing with you on my social media. Yet, at the same time, some of y'all are thinking that I rehearse my clapbacks that I will never have with people that I don't know, will never meet, or are not even interesting to me. I don't have to rehearse clapbacks because I'm not the one looking for an argument. Coming to me with your bullshit, I will decide if I get mad or not. It's not you that just feel like your friends, you can come up to me and piss me off and have a reaction to laugh about and talk about. But at the same time, it's just like, how are you going to say that it's rehearsed when I'm the type of person who always had 2, 3, 5 friends and is always in her head and in her bubble? I think you wish I had you in my mind as much as I am in yours. Like, everybody go through some rejection in their life. Nothing new, like the sky is blue. You know, everybody and anybody, whatever they're doing, like it could be the cashier in a shop to a CEO, has been through rejection. But I have faced some rejection, schools, foster care homes, whatever. Interesting thing, and I've talked to people about it because this is a thing that really shocked me. The wife of somebody in my family. It was a few weeks before me moving to London. And basically, at some point we were talking about it. She was telling me, you're so white in your head. And also stupid. But she was saying that because she was telling me to take government financial assistance while I was going to London and have a job in London at the same time. Apply to that and then go to London and have a job on your own so that you have 2 incomes. Well, incomes. Well, you know what I mean. And I was just like, no, not at all. This is not really the plan, actually. Where I'm going with that is that rejection is not the reason why people don't really see me around. Again, there is this whole narrative of me being a victim, you know, like me being so fragile. I am fragile. There is a fragility in me. Delicate little flower or something. Rejection. Everybody faces rejection. Either I'm on my way to you or I'm not interested to be with you. Anyway, which lead to the whole thing about me not being that bitch. Or not being that bitch anymore. I was never your bitch. Even if I had this aesthetic, you know, this bad and bougie aesthetic, your opinion or your move will change, but mine will be the same. It's not because one day I become more pleasant aesthetically for you that it will change the fact that you're not interested to me. Which goes both ways, you know. This whole thing of, I'm dead, she's dead. Yeah, but you don't even have to be dead for me to not be interested. You look like the next bitch, sound like the next bitch, dress like the next bitch. I can't even make the difference, even if I wanted to, between you and the next bitch. So, sprinkle. I'm not that bitch you. Well, fine. Because the people that you are interested in think that I have something interesting. And you're just mad because you've been around and you did nothing. You bring nothing to the table. Nothing powerful. Nothing that people will talk about in 5, 10, 15 years. Well, that has nothing to do with me. Like, how can you feel intimidated when... You know, it's just like, you have been there. You had the time, the opportunity, you still can do it. You never know. But still, you are at that table or around that table, or you wish to be around that table for how many years? And either you're not at that table, either the people matters at that table don't even see you because you bring nothing to the table. That has nothing to do with me. I'm this, I'm that, I'm not this, I'm not that. Yet, the most boring person to you, according to your perspective, has you pressed like a panini. Same for, people saying, and I think that is interesting, saying that I imitate Americans. 10 years ago, I was already watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I was watching The Bad Girls Club at the same time it was aired. And nobody in my city, country was watching that. I was always listening more to English spoken music, always watching movies from the US, interested in that culture, same as the American culture and the English culture, and also, the fact that in Belgium, it's a melting pot. It's like the cultural identity of my country, of the people of Belgium. Like me, I'm that way, but other people, it could be, I don't know, German influence mixed with Spanish influence and then a pinch of Belgian. Like, it's melting pot. I guess that the only thing I could reply to that is that even if you think that I'm trying to imitate Americans, well, one thing is when I'm only speaking French, it's basically the same thing that I'm saying. So I'm not going to, try to convince you that no, I always have been that way. No. No. The only thing I could say is in any way, just the way that I'm expressing myself is to offend people. It was never like a mockery or something. It's just an entertaining way because that's entertaining me and I'm influenced by it, like the whole world. Not mocking Americans when I'm saying things, not trying to be them. I don't want people to be offended or thinking that I'm mocking their culture or that, I'm trying to make it seem like I'm one of them, or not at all. I was not born in the Bronx. I was not born in, I don't know, San Francisco. Well, I could say every city is in the United States. No, I was born in Belgium. And like Belgium, I have this melting pot thing of being influenced or inspired by plural culture. Finally, guys, towards the bitches saying this and that, I don't think they know. And that's the thing, guys. I feel like you've been fed so much information by your fake sources, and they don't even tell you the real thing. If they will tell you the things to have me figured it out, you wouldn't be interested to know more about their fake narratives. They wouldn't have any use to you. So they just keep feeding a mix between lies and truth, just enough for you to come back to them, to have more information and to know the meaning of that and what she was saying or what she meant, but they don't know me personally. And even their information are coming from people who were around me 5 to 10 years ago. I'm in my vibe, I'm in my zone, I'm in my bubble. Somebody wants to talk shit, I reply, and then they don't like it. And then they go around saying that I'm the bad guy. All those narratives. But you don't come for me, I don't come for you. I've said it so many times, but like I said, it's not a pity party. I never cried about, this whole embarrassment thing. If I have to cry, it's because, well, things may be like me thinking about my mother, or things that happen in my life, but don't think, well, not you, but, the people doing that, don't think you have a certain type of impact. But you don't matter enough for me to address you individually. It's a choice. So it's not that I don't respond because I have nothing to say. I don't respond because you don't matter. This type of energy don't matter to me. There is also this thing of I'm always wearing filters, or there's too many filters on my IG. Well, I change a little bit now. Or, me saying that I like to look like an alien. It's not that deep. It's just not that deep. Get over it. So mystery in the fact that I don't have the perfect Turkish teeth or perfect Turkish teeth aesthetic. It's not part of the reason why I have insomnia. Don't have insomnia a lot now, but it's not part of the reason why I had insomnia. So if I can sleep without thinking about it, I think you can live without thinking about it. Anyway, let's move in French. Bon, les gens, c'est des trucs comme je sais pas quoi, t'as peur. Mais en fait, tu vois, le truc, c'est qu'ils te disent ça et ils avancent leur visage vers toi. Ou, situation beaucoup plus récente, il y avait 2 meufs et il y avait tout ce truc où, en gros, pour faire simple, la meuf, c'était une Gabonaise russe ou je sais pas quoi, et une personne, en gros, disait « Ouais, non, mais elle est noire comme toi et tout, faut que tu lui parles, faut que tu te rapproches d'elle et tout, parce qu'elle est noire comme toi, même si de couleur, voilà, mais voilà, elle vient aussi d'Afrique et tout. » Bon. Et du fait que j'étais pas intéressée forcément par cette personne, une autre personne était là en mode oh, miséricorde, ha ha ha, hi 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 ho. Oui, je sais. Ça fait un moment que je sais et que j'ai expérimenté le fait que beaucoup de gens me prennent pour une punti. Ça me dérange pas. Donc, le fait que toi, tu aies une opinion que je sois une punti, bon, déjà, c'est une chose. Mais le fait que tu viennes près de moi en me disant miséricorde, faire genre, tu utilises des mots intelligents parce que tu penses que c'est relié à ça, en fait. Ou meuf, tu m'intéresses pas, en fait. Juste le fait que toi, tu te dises que je sois une punti et du coup, tu viens près de moi faire des miséricordes, t'as peur. Non, j'ai peur de quoi, en fait? Y a-t-il une menace? Bon, il y a des menaces, mais bon, c'est d'autres types de menaces un peu plus sérieuses quand même. Mais tu vas faire quoi? Écrire un subliminal dans tes captions, écrire un subliminal dans ta story, mais à part ça, tu vas faire quoi? Parce que je veux bien, hein. Moi, je vous dis, moi, vos histoires, ça me dérange pas, je m'en fous, c'est pas les miennes. J'ai toujours dit ça. À un moment, il y avait quelqu'un qui m'avait dit « Ouais, putain, ils ont dit ça sur toi et tout. » J'ai dit « Ok, mais ça me concerne pas. » Comme ça me concerne pas, mais ils parlent de toi. Ouais, je suis le sujet de l'info, mais c'est pas la mienne, c'est pas mon info en fait, je m'en fous. Et comme je disais souvent, je m'en bats les couilles. Wesh, je m'en bats les couilles. Je m'en bats les couilles. La seule chose, c'est que moi, j'ai toujours dit « Pourquoi tu viens près de moi pour faire ça en fait ?» Moi, non, en fait, tu me trouves cool, tu me trouves intéressante, mais tu me trouves bizarre. Tu te fais une idée parce que tu comprends pas, c'est pas relatable, tu te dis mais oh, cette meuf elle est bizarre, elle est cool, mais en même temps elle parle comme ça et c'est un mix des deux, tu sais pas à quoi t'attendre. On t'a pas demandé en fait, on t'a pas demandé, je t'ai pas demandé en fait. Viens correctement et c'est correct, mais si c'est pour commencer à venir près de moi à faire des trucs, t'as peur, miséricorde, non, c'est débile en fait, c'est pas marrant. Et c'est comme, c'est tous ces trucs-là, tu vois, genre, les gens qui sont en mode, on est dehors, we outside. Ouais, t'es dehors et quoi? Tu veux un trophée? Tu veux un trophée? Tu veux quoi? Bon, en vrai, je m'en fous. J'ai beaucoup d'intérêts variés pour m'occuper de ça, je m'en fous. La seule chose que j'aime pas, c'est quand les gens se déplacent. Donc, en gros, moi, bon, j'ai déjà dit beaucoup de choses en anglais, hein, mais je vais le répéter en français parce que bon, des fois c'est mieux de répéter les choses aussi. Il faut pas croire que je suis votre petite en fait. Il faut savoir. Donc maintenant je vous le dis, je suis pas votre petite. C'est bien, c'est bien. Vous avez des informations de gens que je connais ni d'Ève ni d'Adam. Ça aussi il faut le préciser. Je ne connais ni d'Ève ni d'Adam at the end of the day. Et je dois le dire aussi, à la manière avec laquelle ils m'ont étudié, avec toutes ces années qui ont passé, ça m'étonne qu'eux-mêmes n'aient pas réussi à me remplacer. Au bout d'un moment. Si tu m'étudies comme ça, remplacement, et on n'en parle plus. Mais toi, c'est juste blablabla, gauche à droite. Je suis pas votre petite, je suis pas votre pote, on n'est pas ensemble. Donc, vous pensez que vous êtes les valideurs. Tu n'es pas valideur. Tu n'es pas valideur, tu n'es pas contrôleur, tu travailles pas à la STIB. Relax. Vous croyez trop... Il y a des gens, ils aiment trop croire que parce que tu réponds pas à leur manque de respect que ça y est. Non, mais t'es pas le seul à manquer de respect. Et je vais pas vous donner l'heure à tous. C'est de l'énergie, hein. Et c'est pas gratuit. Donc toi, si tu penses que je suis une bête meuf, c'est très bien. Je pense exactement la même chose de toi. Sauf que moi, ça s'arrête là, en fait. On a la même opinion, c'est vice versa, tu vois. C'est juste que moi, je me dis, mais pourquoi ça s'arrête pas là? Pourquoi tu dois faire des subs en plus sur tes réseaux sociaux? Pourquoi tu dois tu dois te prendre pour un commentateur sportif? Tu n'es pas commentateur sportif, tu n'es pas valideur. Et je ne t'ai pas validé. Si, il y avait quelque chose à valider. Pour commencer. Faut dire la vérité, hein. Faut dire la vérité. Vous avez beaucoup d'informations sur moi. Et il faut savoir que quand je dis vous, les gens que j'inspire, again, c'est comme je disais en anglais, c'est un honneur de voir que j'inspire les gens comme ça. J'aurais jamais pensé que, voilà, je serais l'objet d'une telle attention et tout, machin. Bref, dans tous les cas, les personnes qui font que critiquer pour critiquer, oublie pas que c'est toi qui choisis de venir ici. C'est pas comme si Instagram m'aimait trop pour booster mes publications, mes stories, tu vois. On t'a pas imposé l'histoire. Ou peut-être un peu. Mais ça change rien au fait que tu cliques quand même. Donc, bon, moi je sais pas quoi te dire, tu vois. Il y a des nouvelles séries sur Netflix. Il y a des super films au cinéma en ce moment. House of Gucci. Entertain-toi et arrête de me casser la tête. Arrête de venir sur mes réseaux sociaux. Ça devrait s'arrêter là. Mais toi, tu veux faire du forcing. Tu veux toujours forcer. Arrête de forcer, en fait. On n'est pas ensemble. Et si je devais faire partie d'un groupe, ce serait pas le tien. Voilà. Case close, cold case. Maintenant, c'est bon. Tu vois, on va pas passer... on va arriver à une décennie bientôt. Hein. Je sais pas s'il y a certaines personnes qui se rendent compte. On va arriver à une décennie, en fait, avec leurs histoires. Donc, si tu m'aimes pas, si tu as des choses qui te plaisent pas dans mon comportement, dans ma façon de dire les choses, si tu penses que je suis une bounty, bah, parce que je suis une bounty. Parce que même si j'étais pas, ça changerait quoi, concrètement? Ça changerait quoi? Même si, à tes yeux, j'étais pas une bounty. Tu crois vraiment qu'on parlerait? On parlerait pas, en fait. On va pas, c'est pas décennie, non. Au bout d'un moment, décennie, non. Faut laisser les gens, en fait. Laisser les gens. Laisser les gens. T'aimes pas mon contenu? On s'en bat les couilles. Pourquoi? Parce que moi, je suis pas influencée par ton contenu. Toi, t'es influencé par mon contenu. Faut pas l'oublier. Faut pas l'oublier. Et je parle personnellement et vraiment que aux personnes qui disent que de la merde me concernant sur les réseaux sociaux. Oublie pas que toi, t'es inspiré par mon contenu. C'est pas du vice-versa dans ce cas-là, en fait. Faut savoir. C'est pas du vice-versa dans ce cas-là. Donc, je fais même pas la maline en mode ouais. C'est pas question de ça. C'est question de tu peux pas être inspiré par ce que je poste, par ma façon de voir les choses et ainsi de suite, pour après essayer de verser ton venin, là, venin bisounours, là, non. Tu peux être inspiré au fond parce que t'es conditionné comme ça ou parce que c'est juste ta façon de voir les choses, penser que je suis une bête meuf, c'est très bien, garde-le pour toi en fait. Mais ça change rien au fait que t'es quand même inspiré. Ça change rien au fait que t'attends le prochain selfie. Ça ne me dérange pas de t'inspirer, ça ne me dérange même pas que tu m'insultes parce que t'es pas le premier, t'es pas le dernier, c'est pas grave. At the end of the day, comme j'ai dit, moi je suis unbothered, je m'en fous. Mais au bout d'un moment, il y a des gens, ça fait des décennies qui sont sur mon dossier. Hein. Ça fait des décennies qui sont sur mon dossier. Il y a des gens qui disent que j'ai 83 000 personnalités. Non. C'est gentil. On n'est pas 83 000, tu vois. Et le pire, c'est que même si j'en avais 83 000, t'es tellement entertain que tu reviens, en fait. Donc bon. Tu veux être entertain ou pas? Ce sont mes réseaux sociaux, en fait. Il faut savoir ça aussi. Ce sont mes réseaux sociaux. Je fais ce que je veux sur mes réseaux sociaux. Je parle de ce que je veux sur les réseaux sociaux. C'est pas les tiens en fait. Tu veux juste voir du Fashion Nova, H24 et une esthétique balle bougie. Je pense que tu as déjà des gens dans ton following qui font ça, tu vois. Donc ne casse pas la tête. En mode, c'est pas parce que les gens ne postent pas comme toi, ne disent pas les mêmes choses que toi, que ça y est en fait. On t'a pas demandé. Je t'ai pas demandé. Personnellement, je t'ai pas demandé. Donc, ce que je vais dire, pour terminer ça, parce que je vais repasser en anglais, vous voyez, il y a des mecs qui pensent que, je sais pas, genre, je suis folle et genre, ça les excite et tout. Bon, j'aime pas trop le fait de me dire que des mecs pensent que je suis folle et que ça les excite. Je préfère qu'ils se disent que je suis intrigante. C'est mieux, tu vois, genre, pas déconner. Dans tous les cas, il y a des mecs qui me trouvent intrigante, il y a des mecs high level qui me trouvent intrigante. J'ai déjà côtoyé des gens, bref. Et il y a des personnes qui n'aiment pas le fait que j'ai ce type d'intérêt me concernant pour raison X, Y ou Z. Meuf, toi qui as la supposée esthétique bad and bougie, toi qui es dans l'industrie ou qui connaît certaines personnes, tout le monde, j'en sais rien, bref. Si c'est pas passé, si ce n'est pas toi, ce n'est pas ma faute. Bref, je pense que dans cette vidéo, dans cette IGTV, j'ai tout adressé. Comme d'hab, hein, s'il y a des gens qui continuent à talk shit après avoir regardé cette IGTV, en réponse à cette IGTV, vous êtes libre de faire ce que vous voulez. Mais si ce que vous vouliez faire, c'était voir House of Gucci, ce serait quand même bien. Juste un peu, histoire de faire des choses différentes, tu vois, que toujours parler sur les gens. Donc, soit tu viens me voir, soit tu t'occupes de ta best life et de ton outside. Donc voilà ce que j'avais à dire en français. So, for some people, I'm an example regarding my personality, regarding things that I have been through. And for other people, I am a bad example. How can I put it? Like, the things not to do regarding me. I'm not offended by it. Not at all. I'm not offended by it because it's still an example when you look at it in an objective way. But it's just the reality of life. I never inspired to be, the perfect example. I think it's quite obvious that I'm not the perfect example. Of course, I want people to be inspired in the good and the bad, as long as it creates something in their mind when they reflect on it. Those are the things not to do, not to say. It's still an example. It's a strange way to put it, but it's still an example. Voila. It was a little bit aggressive. Well, it was kind of soft for me, but still. I said what I needed to say. Come fight me if you want to. If you don't, that's what I was saying in French. For some people, it has been more than 10 years that they are talking about me and spreading lies, and people that I have been friends with, people that I haven't been friends with. We are 8 billion people in the world. I think that I'm talking about the people talking shit for 10 years. If we're not friends anymore, you already know. I've cut you guys all off. I meant that shit. I'm not going backwards with you. It's done. And if we have never talked and you've been around, going to say whatever you wanted to say, I think that you will be fine with me not interacting with you on some negativity. So, yeah. Okay, guys. See you when we will see each other.